G'day, Roger.
All good?
Yeah.
Healthy?
Very good. And you?
Family? Everything well?
Everything's good.
Great.
Nice
Let's
day.
have a nice chat.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I think, why don't you pick one? I started with one here. We've got a few to get through, so we've
absolutely. Let's talk about winning.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Winning. So maybe I'll give it a go. For me, winning, is I think winning in general is just so important for everyday motivation. Because if you train and you don't end up winning, it just hurts and it's very frustrating. And I think you get very down on yourself and very sad to some extent. So I think winning feeds motivation, keeps you interested, inspires you. So I always say, in some ways, winning solves everything. You can have a bad day, but if you win at the end of the day, you're happy because
Sure.
it was all worth it. And winning for me maybe is also a start to something new. A process. It's not the end. For me,
Yeah.
it keeps going after that because often, if you win, either you win a trophy or you win a game or you win a match or whatever it may be. You might think it's over at that point, but actually it keeps going. It leads to the next thing.
Yes.
And that's what I see in winning mostly. And of course, winning feeling is one of the best ones for us athletes. It's at the end of the day what we live for.
Yeah, the winning feeling's an interesting one because I think it can differ at different times. You've won so many times, but sometimes, that euphoria has lasted a lot shorter than I thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I then look back and I realize enjoying the entire process to get there was
worthwhile and magical.
Worthwhile and as magical
as that
the
5 seconds or
afterwards.
2 minutes, whatever it may be.
And like you said, winning a tournament, even the biggest ones, there's joy in doing that and a sense of achievement and pride. But then it triggers you to that next thing, like you said, and it's going to be the next one. Now I want the next one, and I want to do that whole process again. And I've definitely felt that. And golf is a very interesting sport because you can be very successful winning very little percentage of time, and maybe. So we don't win a lot, so we have to make little goals every day for ourselves, or I do, to feel like I'm winning a little bit.
That's true.
Even though I may not end up winning the tournament.
It's the same situation in tennis. I don't know, at the Grand Slam, 128 players arrive and one guy leaves winning.
Yeah.
And all the other guys actually lost their last match and they're sitting on a plane or in a car going that last match just wasn't it. So if you see the glass half empty, you become quite frustrated, and disappointed. So I think it's really important, like you said, every step of the way that you create yourself little goals and where you can win. Because it could be in practice, it could be a little game you play, it could be the next shot, it could be anything, a little things that nobody can affect it, but you can achieve it. I think it's really crucial. And one thing I was wondering, and especially in other sports or even in my own sport, how people deal with it is like when you won the Masters. At what point did you feel like you were going to win, and when did the euphoria you were talking about before start to kick in? And how long was the happiness or that euphoria right afterwards? Was it 1 minute? Was it 20 minutes? Was it 2 weeks? What was it? And when, from which hole did it start on building up?
Well, for me, my experience winning the Masters, I think fortunately I didn't have any thought of winning that day until the 17th fairway, which is quite late.
Yeah, very
But
late.
that's just how things panned out on the course.
Right.
I didn't lead going into the final round, and everything was just playing out, and I stood in the 17th fairway and for the first time thought I can win now, which is quite late in the round and quite good because I didn't have to spend hours trying to put winning out of my mind, which maybe
could affect you.
Absolutely, in a negative way. So I stood there and played it out, ended up in the playoff, and it was a nail biter. It could have gone either way. And I guess an incredible moment when I finally did win, and it's somewhat a blur, but I still have a sense of the feeling. It was like a butterfly through the whole body feeling, not just the stomach, and it was like this. But to win my first major and it being the Masters and how much I felt that meant to me, I think that feeling of winning lasted a little longer than some other victories, certainly, but only a few days.
Yeah.
Because then there's another tournament and there's another champion the next week, and it's
another
not going to be me because I wasn't playing. So my newspaper's in the bin with my name on it, and I'm old news again the next week. But it is surprising always when I have won that it's shorter lived, the euphoric feeling, and I think that's then the motivation to get back and do it, and I can see how it's almost addictive to keep doing that.
I think one more thing for me, which was a crucial moment in my career, was back in 2004 after I won my first Wimbledon in 2003. I won the World Tour finals at the end of the year, finished number 2, and then won Australia in 2004 to become world number 1. And then I came to a point in my career and I told myself, well, do I want more, or I'm actually happy with my career, and could it end right now? Yeah, sure, it could end right now and it was a most amazing career. Or do I say, like, do I turn right into, yes, I would like to experience that moment of happiness and everything again and see if I get the goosebumps again, if I could win it a second time. Or do I turn left and say, like, I am actually quite content with what it is. I'm going to just put in the same effort because I feel like it's very windy at the top, you know? Like if you don't keep improving, somebody else will, and they will take your spot and knock you off, and then they will take over, you know? And I decided to go right, decided to go down the path of hard training and being tough and, you know, trying, I guess, to create some legacy. I'm trying to get to these moments again. And I'm happy I was able to choose that direction and sort of also enjoy the process and that path, because I think it's important also to enjoy the path you're on, you know, because essentially I was all of a sudden living my dream, you know, and fun should never go away, and I'm happy it never did.
Yeah,
so that was nice.
Definitely a good choice for you, Roger. I think that right path. Yeah, for sure.